This is Walkie here. Hopefully you're having a great day today. Hopefully we know some election results as hopefully they came out as I'm recording this. It's 3:49 on Tuesday. So hopefully we'll know who the next president is going to be tomorrow. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to talk to you about inequalities. Inequalities are problems that have these four little symbols with them. So if you look over to the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the greater than or equal to symbol. We'll see the less than or equal to symbol. You'll see the greater than symbol and the less than symbol. And so we do a couple of things with inequalities. Mainly we graph them. And so if you're reading this, the first inequality that we're given is x is greater than 29. X is greater than 29. And so X can be any number that's bigger than 29. So it could be numbers like 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. It could be 29.5, 29.25, any number that's bigger than 29. Okay, so what we do to graph this is we are going to first label the number line. So up here in the directions, it says label the number line. And so somewhere in the middle or about the middle, you want to start with the number that you're given. And so we're starting with 29. I'm going to type 29 in. Now, keep in mind that when we're labeling a number line, numbers to the right get bigger. Okay, so the next one would be a 28. Oh, that's not bigger. The next one would be a 30, sorry. And then we would have a 31. And then we would have a 32, and then a 33, and then a 34. Numbers to the left are actually getting smaller. So this is where my 28 would go, my 27, my 26, and my 25. If you think this is fun, wait till we get to negatives. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do, and the next thing that this says, is graph the inequality using the tools at right. So you're going to notice a couple of things. First off, I have these circles. An open circle is for when we have something that is strictly greater than. So that would be these two symbols here. This open circle goes with these two symbols here. It's either strictly greater than or strictly less than, meaning it doesn't include the number itself. And so we would use an open circle in that case. The shaded circle, on the other hand, is when we have the equal to sign with it. And so we would use a closed circle for greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to look at our problem, and it says x is greater than 29. So greater than means that it can't be 29. It has to be strictly bigger than 29. So we're going to put an open circle on the 29. And you can either put it on the number or above the number. It doesn't really matter to me. So we put an open circle on 29. Again, this tells me that 29 is not included in this answer. However, some numbers really close to 29 are. And then we want to shade numbers that are greater than 29. Well, numbers greater than 29 are going to be bigger than 29, which goes to the right. So I'm going to use my arrow tool, and I'm going to put it kind of in the middle of the circle, and then you can adjust it so that it's so that it goes the correct way. And so I'm going to scoot it over kind of to the end of that circle. I do want it to touch the circle. Okay, so this is what the inequality would look like if I graphed it. So this shows that x can be any number bigger than 29. So again, it can be 30, 31, 32, 100, 100.5, 100 and a half. Any of those numbers would be acceptable answers, but this is how you graph the inequality. Let's take a look at the next slide. We're going to do the same thing. So first we need to label our number line. So we'll go to about the middle, and I'm going to start with negative 17. Okay, numbers to the right are getting bigger. Now, that's a little tricky with negatives because bigger means they're getting closer to 0, which means they're getting less negative. Okay, so numbers to the right need to be getting less negative. So we're going to go negative 16. Negative 15, these are bigger. Negative 14, negative 13, Whereas numbers to the right are getting more negative. So negative 18, negative 19, negative 20, negative 21, and negative 22. Okay, so then we need to go ahead and graph our inequality. This inequality, mind you, says this is a less than symbol, so x is less than or equal to negative 17. So you have to ask yourself, am I going to use an open circle or a closed circle? And in this case, because it's including the negative 17, because it has this line underneath, we are going to use a closed circle at 17. Okay, so I have my closed circle at negative 17. Now I need to shade less than. I need to shade less than. So that's going to be to the left of the circle. I need to shade to the left of the circle. So just like before, I'm going to kind of line my arrow up, and then you can adjust it from here. Okay, kind of move it down a little. And so now what I have graphed is that x is less than or equal to negative 17. Understand that x can be any number less than or equal to negative 17. So negative 19 would be a solution. Negative 21.5 would be a solution because that would be right here and it's included in the shaded region. Whereas 0 would be over here, which is not in that shaded region. So 0 would not be a solution. Let's take a look at the last one because it's a little different. What do you think is different about this problem? If you said that it's different because the x doesn't come first, you are 100% correct. This is really hard. When I read this, you would read this as negative 24 is less than x. If I read it like we read in the United States, which is left to right, we would read this as negative 24 is less than x. But to me, to wrap my mind around that is really hard. I always like the x to come first. So this little piece over here says, does x come first in the inequality? If not, rewrite it here using the symbols at right. And so what I'm going to have you do is retype problems in where x doesn't come first, or rewrite them should you ever use paper again. And so what we're going to do, we're going to type this as x, and then we're going to type the negative 24. Okay, but we have a decision to make. All right, if you look at the problem, the mouth of the inequality symbol is open to the x. It has to stay open to the x. So which one of these four do you think that I'll use? If you said this one right here, you are correct. So the mouth has to stay open to the x, just like it was open to the x before. So a better way to understand this problem is by saying x is greater than 24. So I'm going to go ahead and, or negative 24, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put my numbers in. I'm going to start about in the middle. This is going to be negative 24. And then to the right, keep in mind, they're getting closer to 0. And so they're getting less negative, which means this is going to be negative 23, followed by negative 22, followed by negative 21, and negative 20, and negative 19. And then to the left, we've got negative 25. We're getting more negative, negative 26, negative 27, and negative 28. Okay, and so then the fun part, how do I graph this? Well, I look at the inequality symbol. Actually, I'm going to look at this one right here, and it is strictly greater than. X is greater than, so it doesn't have the line under it, which means it's not including 24. It's the numbers right around negative 24, but it doesn't include that negative 24, so it is an open circle on negative 24. And I want to shade greater than. Okay, greater than, which means I want to shade to the right. Now, if that's kind of tricky for you to think about, that's okay. I have a shortcut. However, you have to remember, it only works when x comes first. It only will work when x comes first. So over here, if you look at this inequality symbol like an arrow, which way is it pointing? It's pointing to the right, which is the way you shade. If we back up one, Which way is this inequality pointing? It's pointing to the left, which is the side that we shade. The first one, which way is this inequality pointing? It's pointing to the right, which is the way that we shaded. Okay, but you have to be very careful on problems like this where the x does not come first. If the x doesn't come first, that trick doesn't work, right? I shaded the opposite way that this arrow is pointing. So I guess you can make that your rule. If the x comes second, then you have to shade opposite, but that's kind of an extra part to remember. So hopefully this was super clear and you understand inequalities. The next thing that I want you to do, you have 3 problems to try on your own, and I will certainly be checking in with you, and you're welcome to check in with me via Zoom, text, or email. Have a good day. See ya.